a crunchy, irresistible crust, and an exceptional flavor. Forget about the usual spaghetti. Today we're making them all assassina. The first thing to do is prepare a tomato broth. This needs to stay hot at all times because we'll need it to cook the pasta. So we add the tomato paste to hot water. Then choosing the right pan is very important. First of all, the pot itself needs to be sufficiently wide enough so that we can easily fit the long strands of spaghetti straight in. I start with a base of oil and garlic. Some people chop the garlic, but I prefer to leave it whole with the skin on so I can remove it later. If you have fresh chili pepper, now's the time to add it. But I have dried chili, so I add it later with the tomato, otherwise it gets a bit bitter. If you want to use less or more, just go with your gut. Now I can add the tomato puree without ruining my shirt. Now, depending on how much of a killer you feel like, choose how much chili to use. I'm going to take out the garlic. I'm using an aluminum pan, but actually the original recipe calls for an iron one. I add some salt, and I also add a little bit of salt to the delicious tomato broth. In this recipe, the method for cooking the pasta is very unique. We're going to put the spaghetti directly into the pan so it absorbs all the tomato sauce, and then little by little, we'll add the tomato broth and it'll form a crust that I'll show you. I'd love to give you exact cooking times, but this recipe is something you really have to feel. I know you're tempted to add more water, but maybe it's called assassina because you have to make the pasta suffer a little. You really need to add just a little. Then you'll feel it start to stick, and that's when we add more on purpose. Look, the crust is already starting to form. Now I can flip them. A lot of people don't know that this recipe was born in Bari in the 1960s, thanks to Chef Enzo Francavilla, who made this dish for his guests and then asked them, "Did you like it?" And they replied, "You're such an assassin," exactly because it was really spicy, and now it's become a traditional dish of Puglia. They're almost ready, so let's give them a stir. Like I said, you need a bit of patience. The cooking takes a little longer because there's not much liquid, so the pasta needs more time. You have to taste it every now and then. It took me about 20 to 30 minutes. Delicious, nice and spicy and crunchy. Have you ever tried it? Let me know in the comments. Ciao!